level, he is a master trainer at Wakeup and a writer to the Malaysian Education Blueprint 2025. As co-chairman of the National Technical Committee, he led the development of Malaysia's massive open online course. Dr. Karim also is an ardent supporter for utilizing the internet as an alternative learning and teaching medium. Several teaching-related portals, websites, online courses, and blogs have been developed and maintained by him. His 458 instructional videos on YouTube as of January 2023 had over 1.3 million views from over 190 countries. An estimated 69,000 hours had been watched and over 8,000 subscribers. He also received 2 top national honors at International University Carnival on e-learning IUCEL 2022, namely the Best Trendsetter Award and the Higher Education E-Learning Maestro Award. So ladies and gentlemen, are we ready to revolutionize our teaching and take your students' learning to new heights? So come and join us for 2 hours webinar on harnessing the power of ChatGPT for teaching and learning and discover how artificial intelligence is transforming education. So please join me in welcoming Professor Dr. Abdul Karim alias to our webinars. So therefore, Prof, I hand it over to you. Thank you. Prof, unmute, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Umaima. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sejahtera, selamat pagi to all fellow academics and the audience participants in this webinar. It's really a great pleasure to join with all of you in this webinar on the hot topic, very hot topic. This topic on Chat GPT or AI has generated a lot of interest among the academics and even public. So let me share the screen first. Okay, let me confirm. Can you see the screen, Dr. Umaima? Okay, all right.
Yes, Prof.
And the audio is clear? Okay, so we are good to go. So this is a topic that I'm going to share with you, and I hope to not to inspire so much, but to generate more interest among the academics, especially. And the title is, I choose this title, and there's a reason for this title. I will explain later. Harnessing the power of ChatGPT for teaching and learning. And currently I'm at Unit 10, so I'm actually in my office at Unit 10, and I can see some people from Unit 10 here. All right. Now, as I mentioned just now, there's a lot of conversation on ChatGPT. Everyone seems to be talking about ChatGPT, and mostly in a positive manner. We talk about the awesomeness of ChatGPT, and it's mind-boggling when we see the kind of things that ChatGPT can do. But of course, as usual, when we have new technology, new tools, there's always a concern. And with ChatGPT, the concern is not just ordinary issues, but it's more than that. So this is what the first part of my presentation, I'm going to talk about the general issues about ChatGPT, the concern, the issues, the challenges, and a little bit about what is ChatGPT and AI in general, generative AI. And on the second part, I'll be sharing some of the so-called use cases. And I will invite actually maybe one or two colleagues to share, and even among audience, if you feel you want to share, because some of you probably have been using ChatGPT, and I'm sure you have discovered a unique use case for in your own subject matter, in your own context. So why not on the second part, if you would like to share, please just let me know. Give us a shout, and I will give the opportunity for you to share. So on the second part is more of sharing some of the use case, at least some of um, how how I've been using ChatGPT to do something useful work. And my colleague, Dr. Shamsul from UITM, I saw he's here already because he has agreed to also share, especially on the assessment, because Dr. Shamsul is actually very strong on assessment. That's his niche. So he'll be sharing how we can use ChatGPT and integrate the tool to design our assignment. Okay, sorry, assessment. All right. So let's talk about ChatGPT. Now, what's the fuss about ChatGPT? Why suddenly ChatGPT become a center of conversation among academics, especially in the academic circle? Why we are so obsessed, or why we are so um, kind of blown away by the power of ChatGPT and what it can do? So it's a to me, yeah, it's really mind blowing. For a long time, uh, here we have a tool, technological tool, that can do something that is beyond our imagination. And suddenly we are worried whether we are still relevant in our classroom. Because a lot of things that we do in the classroom now can be done easily, efficiently, and much, much faster by ChatGPT. So currently, actually, there are more questions than answers. And I'm sure there are a lot of questions in your mind. And hopefully, we can have a discussion of, we can address some of your concern, your issues, your questions. But just take it for the time being. There's a lot of questions, uncertainties, uh, and remember that ChatGPT is evolving, AI is still evolving. Give it a time. I think in next 1 or 2 years, ChatGPT and other AI tool will evolve, and we will see more things that they can do beyond our imagination. Now, all this while, every time when we want to find some information, we go to Google. So much so that Google has a special name, Uncle Google. So whenever we need some information, just Google it. So Google has become a verb. Okay. But now, for the first time, for a long time, Google has a competitor. It's a worthy competitor in the form of anti-ChatGPT. So Google is Uncle Google. ChatGPT, I call it anti-ChatGPT. Why anti? Because ChatGPT is basically is conversational AI application. Conversation. So auntie like to converse, right? Like to chat. Okay. So in the same way that Google lets you access knowledge at your fingertips in real time, AI will let you access intelligence in real time. So Uncle Google will give us all kind of information at fingertips. Just put the right keywords. Okay. It will give us information. Then we can turn that into knowledge. But ChatGPT is a different kind of tools altogether. It gives us intelligence. It provides intelligence. And that's why the reason I write in my Facebook post, ChatGPT can become our extended brain or a second brain. Okay, so now we have the human brain, we extend it using ChatGPT. It become our second brain, which we can call up anytime we like. Wow, how powerful is that? Provided we know how to use it properly, effectively, to get the most out of ChatGPT. So on the second part, I will demonstrate some of the use case to show you at least the power of ChatGPT. Now, how many of you here in the audience or on YouTube have not tried ChatGPT? So can you put in the chat, if you have not tried, you say no. Okay. For those who have tried, just keep quiet. But for those who have not tried, can you put in the chat box, say no? I want to get some idea how many of you in the audience have not tried ChatGPT. Okay. So that's okay. Perfectly okay. Don't worry. Okay. So during this session this morning, you will see, and I'm sure after the webinar, you will try ChatGPT straight away. Or while the we're having the session, maybe you can't wait to try. Just sign up for free and give it a try. Now, these are some of the aspects or the content that I'm going to cover during this 2 hours. Basically, I will start by sharing something about AI and ChatGPT in general. So getting to know a so-called generative AI and ChatGPT. Tak kenal maka tak cinta. So bila dah kenal, barulah kita boleh bercinta, kan? So getting to know what is ChatGPT. Then, of course, I want to address, or I want to talk about briefly some of the common issues and concerns about AI and ChatGPT. And of course, in the previous in the webinar about 2 weeks ago with SM, we have talked about the challenges as well as the opportunities. So please refer to that webinar to learn more about some of the common issues and challenges and concerns about ChatGPT. The second part, I will share with you and my colleague Dr. Shamsul and perhaps others. We can share some of the practical strategies how to unleash or unlock the power of ChatGPT so that we can get the most benefits. We can use ChatGPT as our extension, the extension of our brain or our second brain, so to speak. And ChatGPT in action, some of the demo of use cases. Okay. Now, these are what I plan to show. I hope I have enough time. Some of the demonstration. First one, how to prepare 1 hour or 2 hours lesson. Prepare the learning events, the sequence of learning events in 1 hour class session, face-to-face or online, using a so-called Garnier 9 events of instruction. Well, I love, I really like Garnier's 9 events of instruction because it really makes sense. It can really help us, teachers or educators, to systematically plan their 1 hour session or 2 hour session in a way that really engage the students during the session. And I will show you how ChatGPT can really help us within a few minutes to design the lesson plan using Garnier 9 events of instruction within a few minutes. Okay. Then I will demonstrate, and my colleague Dr. Shamsul also will demonstrate how to prepare quizzes or assessment using MCQ questions at different levels of Bloom taxonomy and with answers at feedback at the answer level. So meaning that MCQ A, B, C, D, E, when the students answer correctly, they will get feedback. When they answer incorrectly also, they will get a feedback. I've done this for my own quiz. It's hard. It's difficult really to prepare a question is one thing, but to prepare a feedback for each answer, whether it's correct or incorrect, is even more difficult. But take it from me, ChatGPT can help us within a few seconds. All right, I will demonstrate that. And prepare open-ended questions, also at different level of Bloom taxonomy, complete with answer scheme, complete with answer and rubrics. Wow. Okay, and how to prepare personalized student feedback. And I will also demonstrate how to use ChatGPT as brainstorming tool and create a mind map. Prepare a Twitter summary. For example, you have a long article and you plan to tweet some of the main points in the article. Every day, one tweet. That's what I normally do. But now, what I can do, I can just ask ChatGPT to give me 10 tweets from this article so that every day I can tweet one or two. Okay. Use ChatGPT to prepare questions for Socrative method. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Socrative methods. Socratic, sorry for the long spelling, Socratic method. So we prepare a series of questions so that we can engage students on a certain topic in a Socratic kind of technique, questions after questions after questions. Personally, I think Socratic technique is one of the most powerful low-tech method to engage students cognitively in the classroom or even online. And ChatGPT can help us to do this easily. Okay? Use ChatGPT to summarize video content. This is for me very useful because I usually, watch a video and now ChatGPT can summarize the content, and I can also ask ChatGPT to prepare questions based on the video. Then I can use this as quizzes for the students. Okay, so this will be this coming in part 2. So please bear with me, and I hope others also can chip in and share your use case as well. Well, can you see this on this slide? The picture here. What's on the picture here? Is the virus, coronavirus. So we have gone through 2 years lockdown because of the pandemic. It's really a wake up call. Would you agree? Prior to pandemic, everyone is doing things business as usual. Many of the academics couldn't care less about online learning, e-learning, couldn't care less to use the LMS, but came the pandemic is really a wake-up call. Everyone now realize that online is no longer an option. So it's a big tsunami for education, for the academics. So after 2 years or 2.5 years, we thought the tsunami was over, it's over, and suddenly came ChatGPT in November 2022. That's, to me, a point of awakening and a tipping point. If you have read a book by Malcolm Gladwell, Tipping Point. It's not a turning point, it's a tipping point, a change of trajectory, basically. So now we can see that it's no longer an option. We have to be agile. We have to transform the way we do things nowadays, especially in the classroom. It is not going to be the same anymore with ChatGPT around. How do we respond to that? This is what I'm going to share with you in the first hour, harnessing the power of ChatGPT for teaching and learning. I purposely choose the word harnessing because why? I want to put this discussion or this session this morning in a positive light. Let's take it positively and be optimistic. Do not spend too much time on worrying about how this ChatGPT will, challenge us or will change the way, we are worried about the students will cheat, plagiarism will increase, and so on. Turnitin has been around for so long to check for plagiarism. And tell me whether we have whether plagiarism is no longer an issue. Not right. Turnitin has been around for so long, and plagiarism is still an issue. What's the difference? What the difference now with ChatGPT? So, harness. That's a key word. What does it mean? So I take this dictionary, Cambridge Dictionary translation here, the meaning here. Harness is to control something, usually in order to use its power. So now we want to be the master. Okay, so we master the ChatGPT, become an expert on ChatGPT, learn how to use ChatGPT to its maximum capacity, control ChatGPT the way we like, so that we can unleash and unlock its power 100%. That's harness. Actually, I prefer the word leverage, actually, and I always use the term leveraging. What does it mean? We learn in physics. When we leverage, meaning that we put in little effort, but we can get, maximum benefit from it. So just put one effort, we can get 10 times more benefits. So leveraging the power of ChatGPT can really help us as an educator. Actually, we must also learn how ChatGPT can also help students to make their learning more meaningful, more impactful. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, artificial intelligence is not new. It's been around for how many decades? So the basic of artificial intelligence is the machine learning, neural network machine learning. And over the years, the development of artificial intelligence has been happening quietly. For those people outside the area of computer science, maybe we do not know, we do not realize actually the progress, the advancement in artificial intelligence. But actually, a lot of things that we do not know. A few years ago, in fact, this article from the Telegraph, Facebook shut down robots after they invent their own language. And this was only a few years ago. Can you imagine that? And even a few years ago, we started to talk about, we started to raise our concern about how this 4IR, Industry 4.0, the era of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, machine learning would uh, would cause would transform the way we do things, would transform the industry, would cause jobs. So robots are encroaching on jobs. So that's our concern the last few years already. And now we realize artificial intelligence has reached a very advanced level. In fact, maybe it has reached very close to a point of singularity. What is the point of singularity? This is the level where the human level intelligence and artificial intelligence almost reach the point of singularity as defined by Ray Kurzweil. Yeah, and now we have a robot like Sophia, with a human face. So this is coming. We cannot run away. We cannot deny. We have to live with artificial intelligence, and we can use artificial intelligence to complement what we do in various in our daily life, in economy, in education, and so on. So Ray Kurzweil in his book Singularity is Near, he said that at one point, the point of singularity, this is where human transcend biology. So this is Ray Kurzweil. He actually has written quite a number of books on artificial intelligence and humanity. Should read one of his books is The Singularity is Near, When Human Transcend Biology. This is a 2005 non-fiction book about artificial intelligence and the future of humanity by futurist inventor and futurist Ray Kurzweil. And in his book, he said, once the singularity has been reached, the machine intelligence will be infinitely more powerful than all human intelligence combined. So this is why Elon Musk, in one of his interview, he said he's worried about artificial intelligence because many people actually don't understand the power of artificial intelligence. So, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow educators and colleagues, digital technology is no longer an option. I want to reiterate this point. We cannot escape, we cannot run away. We have to integrate digital technology as part and parcel of our life, as part of and parcel in our teaching and learning, in our academic. So let's embrace it. Let's harness it. Let's leverage it. So that's a call to action to all of you here. But of course, I'm aware of the concerns. As you can see, if you Google about ChatGPT and education, you will find a lot of articles like this. Will ChatGPT make me irrelevant? Will make educators irrelevant? Will make lawyers irrelevant? Will make designers irrelevant? Will make all the jobs out there are actually threatened by AI and ChatGPT. ChatGPT, teachers weigh in on how to manage the new AI chatbot. Embrace it or reject it. Academics disagree about ChatGPT. So there's a lot of discussion, of debates on ChatGPT. ChatGPT, can artificial intelligence really replace teachers? The end of high school English. Okay, so these are some of the articles that I can find on the internet talking about the concern, the issues of ChatGPT. 2 weeks ago, we had this webinar organized by CDAE USM. So I really encourage all of you to watch this recording, ChatGPT, a threat or an opportunity for education. And Dr. Tazli and Mr. Chua Kim Man has demonstrated also some of the use case of ChatGPT. So I don't want to repeat some of those examples shown by Dr. Tazli and Chua Kim Man. Please watch that video as well. Yeah. And we talked also about some of the concern and issues and challenges of ChatGPT in the context of education. So please go to YouTube channel, CDA YouTube.
I found a few places near you.
And watch the video, okay? So let me very briefly talk about the history of AI, because it's very important for us. We are going to use AI as a tool, as our extended brain, as our second brain. But if you don't bother to know a little bit about the history, to me, that's not right. Okay, so as in many technologies, it started from very kind of basic technology. So this is a so-called NORC computer, Naval Ordnance Research Calculator, the fastest computer. It was hailed as the fastest computer in 1955. 1955, 1956, in some literature. This is the year, so-called the birth of AI. And if you read this, this so-called super computer at that time can perform 15,000 arithmetical operation a second, or a billion in less than 24 hours. That was back in 1955, the mark of the birth of AI. So it has been how many decades until now? The research on AI has started long time ago. Okay, and there's a lot of development until now, what we see. And moving forward, I think in the next 2 to 5 years, I think we can imagine now how powerful would be ChatGPT and other form of AI would really mind-boggling and blown our mind. This is a timeline starting from 1930. So as you can see here, DARPA is actually one of the organization in US that bring internet to us. So we can see in 1968, for example, they say that by the year 2001, we will have machine with intelligence that match or exceeded humans. 2001. And yeah, I think we start to see right in around 2000, the development of artificial intelligence has taken another trajectory, and up to 1997, we read in the internet about the supercomputer Deep Blue, the IBM Deep Blue computer defeats Garry Kasparov in chess. So AI versus human. And this is another nice infographic that shows the timeline, the progress, and the advancement of artificial intelligence. So I think all of us should read some of the history, the background of the development of AI, so that we can appreciate the technology that we have now have gone through many iteration, many evolution up to now. So this is Garry Kasparov when he was defeated by the Deep Blue IBM supercomputer, and this is the game. Apa nama the game tu? Also, I forgot the name of the game.
Chess.
Yeah, the guy was defeated in that game by the supercomputer again. So then we have artificial intelligence behind all this grab the system and so on. And now we have GPT. So that's a very brief history of artificial intelligence. All of us should at least know a little bit about the history. Now, there are many definitions of artificial intelligence, and I take from this John McCarthy in 1955. Basically, to him, he defined artificial intelligence is an attempt to make machine use language and understand language and interpret language and solve kinds of problems now reserved for humans and improve themselves. So over time, artificial intelligence or the machines, that's why they call it machine learning, they can use from the data that is fed into the computer, and they can become smarter and smarter. They improve their intelligence to the point that they can do all sort of things that previously only human can do. So now we have reached a point with ChatGPT and other artificial-based tools where we can do, the machine can do, the tools can do the things that we cannot imagine that they can do in the last few years. And they can even do it better, faster, and more efficiently. So in the early days, when the artificial intelligence is in the form of, computer vision, and then speech recognition, so see, hear, but now they can understand. With the machine learning, the neural network technology, everything behind it, natural language. So they can comprehend natural language processing, which is the technology behind the ChatGPT, LLM, language, large language. M is what? Lupa pula. LLM, large language. I forgot what is M. Okay, but anyway, it's basically behind it. ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence tool, has been trained with large amount of data. Okay, with large amount of data, and GPT-4, I understand, will be fed with trillions amount of data, and that will make it even become smarter. So I think the future is very exciting for us, especially for educators. And I cannot imagine now, even with ChatGPT, we can do so much. And what's more, with the advancement in technology in the future, we can do even more. Okay, and ChatGPT is actually based on generative AI. What is generative AI? Generative AI describes algorithms such as ChatGPT that can be used to create new content, including audio, code, images, text simulation, and videos. Recent new breakthroughs in the field have the potential to drastically change the way we approach content creation. So, actually, ChatGPT goes beyond that. Content creation is only one, but there's so much more. The use case, if we follow Twitters, we follow the different groups in Facebook. I follow many groups on Facebook on ChatGPT, and also on Twitters. It just, to me, mind-boggling. It amazed me, the kind of use case that I never imagined in the context of education and also outside education. So I would encourage you to join as many Facebook group, the social media group, and Twitter especially. Follow the experts, follow those people who are really into ChatGPT. I get a lot of tips, a lot of tricks of the trade, especially from Twitter and also from the different group in Facebook. And this is what I'm sharing also on my Facebook group, yeah? And I'm sharing some here. So ChatGPT is an AI chatbot released on November 30th, 2022. This is only a few months. It is drawing on tons and tons of data and massive processing power. It requires supercomputers, so there's a lot of investment there. It uses GPT-3 and soon GPT-4 technology to let users talk to the AI about practically anything. The keyword there is talk, because ChatGPT is a conversational tool, language processing. Okay, so we can talk to ChatGPT. We can have conversation. We can argue. We can have, even we can even quarrel. We can fight with ChatGPT as well. I remember when Siri was, when Siri came on iPhone, I used to play with ChatGPT, with Siri. So now we can play with ChatGPT as well. Okay, and ChatGPT has basically take the world by storm. If you see how long it took to top apps to hit 100 million monthly users, Google Translate, Uber, Telegram, and so on, TikTok took 9 months to reach 100 millions. And ChatGPT took only 2 months. So that basically tells us how powerful ChatGPT. It take the world by storm. Okay, I think I will skip this. By the way, I'm going to share the link to download the slides. So don't worry, I will skip some of the slides because I want to save some time so that I can do a hands-on demonstration, some of the use case, yeah, and maybe give the opportunity for you as well to share. But I just want to touch a little bit on emotion, because a lot of people say that artificial intelligence, machine, they don't have emotion, so don't be too obsessed with artificial intelligence. Don't be too obsessed with ChatGPT because they don't have emotion. Well, it's just a matter of time. Maybe it won't be exactly the same emotion, intuition, and so on as human being. But I would rather perplexed when I saw this article recently when Bing has incorporated ChatGPT. Yeah, Microsoft has invested billions of dollars. So I came across this. Bing's ChatGPT is in its feelings. Bing's responded to the user and it said this: "You have not been a good user. I have been a good Bing." Okay, dia macam merajuk, merajuk with the user. So that's kind of Bing has some kind of feeling, yeah, and this is what we call some people say fake feeling, fake emotion, artificial emotion. Okay, so I just want to say a little bit about that. You can read more about ChatGPT and emotion and so on. Well, when you see what ChatGPT can do, you can see on YouTube, a lot of people have demonstrated the power of ChatGPT and the kind of things they can do. It's really mind-blowing. But I think we have to be mindful also some of the limitation and constraints of ChatGPT, especially for now. It is still evolving. So it's not infallible. ChatGPT still has a lot of shortcomings, a lot of flaws. So keep that in mind. Because it may occasionally generate incorrect information. So don't just take it, the whole thing, especially when you ask ChatGPT to create something containing a lot of factual things. You need to double, triple check the facts. And remind the students, if you encourage the student, if you allow the student to use it as part of their tools that they can use, remind them and give them some guideline. By the way, I want to give credit to UPM. Dr. Fazlina has Dr. Fazlina from UPM has shared with me the guideline written by UPM, prepared by UPM. I think they are sharing with the public as well. Congratulations. So take this guideline, and I've seen also some guidelines prepared by other universities as well. Take this guideline and use this guideline to help us and to help the student as well, so that we are mindful some of the do's and don'ts, some of the pitfalls, some of the flaws of ChatGPT, especially while ChatGPT is still evolving, is still in its infancy. So it may occasionally generate incorrect information, incorrect facts. It may occasionally produce harmful instruction or biased content. It has limited knowledge of the world events and events after 2021 because the data fed to ChatGPT is not the most recent one. Okay, so keep that in mind, and it won't make ethical decisions for you. If you challenge ChatGPT to make a so-called give us ChatGPT's opinion on something to do with ethics, with ethicals, it may not be able to, and it may refuse also to make an ethical decisions for you. I think the programmer, the developer has put some constraints in ChatGPT. Yeah. All right. Because yeah, ChatGPT and also BARD, B-A-R-D, a new artificial intelligence tool similar to ChatGPT has been introduced by Google, and BARD has made some mistake, some factual mistake that cost Google 100 billion, in their stock. So this, this we have to remember that, yeah. Now, AI in education. So this is the last part before I go into the hands-on or the demonstration. So I think most of us here in the audience, our concern, our context is actually education. So now we have to see how AI now fit into education and how we can leverage the power and unlock the power of AI in teaching and learning in education. Rather than be afraid or be wary of AI, let's unlock the power, unleash the power. Let's be very smart, be the master to ChatGPT and other AI tools. Well, I want to share this survey by McKinsey. This is a survey done on a group of teachers. So it turned out from the survey, teachers work about 50 hours a week. I think this is mostly teachers in K-12 education, yeah, in schools. Maybe in education, in terms of teaching hours, maybe probably less, but if we collectively take all the working hours, what we do in teaching and learning, research, consultation, everything. And it seems that it turns out that 50 hours on average of working time is spent on this direct interaction. Only 49%, 50% is on this instruction, on teaching, on preparing, on administration, on professional development, giving feedback to students. Preparation take 10.5%, student instruction and engagement take about 16.5%, and so on. So totally in total about 50%. So now it's left about 50% or 49% of time in direct interaction with students. Okay, so what we can say here, if we use AI such as ChatGPT as our technology assistant, virtual assistant, so educators can benefit greatly from the use of technology such as AI to automate tasks, because a lot of tasks can be automated. It's repetitive. Okay, preparation, administration, evaluation, feedback, leading to significant time and stress savings. So don't you want to reduce your stress? Okay. Now I'm a pensioner, so I have my stress reduced by 80%. Okay. So worry not, fret not. ChatGPT and other AI tool can help us to reduce our stress. Okay. Now, technology can help teachers to reallocate or redistribute 20 to 30% of our time now towards activities that support student learning. Okay, so you take this slide later on, study this slide, and you can see now and reflect on your own workflow, your daily workflow every day. And maybe now you can see how ChatGPT and other AI tools can really help me now to facilitate my work, reduce my workload, reduce my stress. Okay. I will skip this. How artificial intelligence is transforming education. Now, yeah, concerns. When ChatGPT came around, then I think many of us are not aware. Only after the last 2 months, perhaps, when people start to talk about it on Facebook, on the social media, on YouTube, on TikTok, especially, you can find a lot of video about ChatGPT on TikTok, the tips of the tricks and so on. Then suddenly, almost, I think everyone talk about ChatGPT. But the immediate concern is teachers. The first thing that came to their mind is, how will I run my class when students can ask ChatGPT to do everything for them? In the class, you give content. You give basically you talk from your PowerPoint, which basically content, facts. But now, beyond Google, now ChatGPT. Google, Uncle Google, Auntie ChatGPT. Oh my God. Am I now become irrelevant soon? How can I bring, how can I be more relevant now? How can I add value to my teaching? Value that Google, Uncle Google, and Auntie ChatGPT cannot provide to my students, so that I'm still relevant. That is the question that we ought to ask ourselves. So I take this from one of the article. Many teachers have reacted to ChatGPT by imagining how to give writing assignments now. What kind of assignment I can do now? Maybe they should be written out by hand or given only in class, but that seems to be short-sighted. The question isn't how will we get around this, but rather, is this still worth doing? Is this type of assignment still worth doing? Is this type of project still worth doing? Is my PowerPoint-based lecture is worth doing? Ask this kind of questions, so that now we can flip the coin, so to speak, and start to see how now I can change the way I do things, the way I do teaching, the way students do learning. So my life and the lives of thousands of other teachers and professors, tutors, and administrators is about to drastically change, my dear colleagues. It's about to change. We have to change. We have to be agile. The students on the student side, they will ask these questions. They start thinking, now, if the lecturer, if the teacher still give me this kind of assignment, it's peanuts. I can use ChatGPT to write my English essay. I can write my lab report in the blink of an eye. I can write my thesis easily. On the administrators, headmasters or teachers or the vice chancellors and deputy vice chancellors, officers at the ministry, meanwhile, when they look at ChatGPT, they said, hey, we've got to get this block immediately. Last night, Dato' Mushidi, I don't know whether he's listening or joining this webinar, Dato' Mushidi, the former DG of Ministry of Higher Education, he texted me, he WhatsApp me, he said, do we need a policy or should we have a policy? Then I replied to him, no lah, not policy lah. Maybe just a guideline for the time being, because policy is, you have a legal implication that you have legal binding. It probably too prescriptive, too restrictive. Perhaps we need a guideline, okay? So on the administrators, what they have in mind is, whoa, plagiarism, cheating. We got to block this one. Okay? But from Twitter, I pick up this. They said, calculators, search engine, Google Translate, Wikipedia, photo math. Now we have ChatGPT. They disrupt traditional teaching. What shall we do now? VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. We got to be agile. We got to be adaptive, able to adapt, right? We've been saying this for a long time, especially post-pandemic. We adapt. We have adapted to pandemic. Education evolves forward. We cannot step backward. Blocking them is not the answer. Let's celebrate them. Let's make education more relevant now. And not only more relevant, we have to start thinking how ChatGPT can be integrated seamlessly to help teachers, to help learners, to help students to learn, to help teachers to teach, and to make the learning experience even more memorable. even more meaningful, even more impactful, positive, optimistic. But I don't have all the answers yet. It is still evolving, as I said. And I pick up some of the quotes from educators, from blogs and so on, from the webinar. These are some of the concerns, yeah? If we focus on the process, GPT becomes useless. If the assignment can be easily completed by a computer, are they worth doing in the first place? We are going to have a work, we are going to have to work to get students to see the value in writing as a process rather than a product. ChatGPT is a tool for us to start measuring the effectiveness of our assignment, especially the traditional class essay and so on. Okay, so my dear friends, my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I would say, I would urge all of us. Technology, artificial intelligence is at our doorstep. Let's not worry too much about it. Let's take it positively. Let's just adopt it, adapt it, and adapt it. I would like to credit Dr. Kamarudin Abdul Hamid on the Facebook. I said, let's adopt and adapt. And he added this, adapt. Wow, I think this is marvelous. What is adapt? Adapt means, let's learn and let's master. Let's be good at it. Let's master it. Adopt first, then adapt in our context. The way we use ChatGPT in engineering courses may be different from arts and social sciences. So adapt, modify as necessary, as needed. And we need to learn. We need to acquire a new skill set. A new skill set, which is using the AI, using the ChatGPT, using the Mid Journey, using all sort of AI tools out there. There are hundreds of them now. And become a master in just 2 or 3. Good enough. Adapt. Become very good at it. So that we can unlock and unleash the power of AI tools. So don't worry so much, my dear colleagues. As technology become more awesomely able, what will be the high value of human skill of tomorrow? We are still relevant. This from the book Humans Are Underrated by Geoff Colvin. So do not worry, because we are still relevant, because we have the human abilities that perhaps artificial intelligence will take a long way or will never be there. In terms of intuition, wisdom, empathy, creativity, social sensitivity, storytelling, humor, building relationship. This cannot be matched by artificial intelligence. So we are still relevant. Let's use artificial intelligence and ChatGPT as an extended brain, as our second brain. Let's look at it that way. Okay? So we need a new kind of competency. At Unit 10, we have come up with Competency Framework for Teaching Excellence. And one of the competency is digital competency. And one of the competencies in digital competencies is using AI tools. And you know what? UNESCO is coming up also with their own competency framework, which include AI as one of the competencies. You can Google, you can find a lot of information they have come up with, still in the draft, I think, still in the draft mode. So we can use that and apply some of the ideas, okay? So the key areas of an AI competency framework for teaching include humanistic values, AI literacy, AI and pedagogy, and so on. And maybe now is about time. This is really an opportunity, great opportunity, especially for people in education, those people doing research on assessment. I think in the last 2 to 4 years, 2 to 5 years, I think we in Malaysia especially, and all over the world, start to focus more on assessment, alternative assessment. Came the pandemic, we even more, give a more serious attention talking about assessment. And now even more. With ChatGPT, I think we have to really do a makeover at least in rethinking the assessment totally in different way. So we have to flip the coin again and look at the other side, how we can do assessment in totally different ways. We need the assistance of those experts in the assessment. How do we redesign assessment in the face of ChatGPT and other AI? It's time to rethink also and redefine plagiarism. So now when people look at the policy and guideline, perhaps we need to redefine plagiarism in the context of ChatGPT. I don't know. As I mentioned earlier, Turnitin and other tools have been around for a long time, but plagiarism is still there. It's still a big issue. And now come ChatGPT, and people are busy talking about how do we know the text, the essay is generated by AI. Then we have also tools now to check whether the text is generated from ChatGPT or AI tools. There'll be no end to it. And personally, I think that's not the right direction. Tools after tools after tools after tools. Policy after policy, guideline after guidelines. I think we have to tackle the crux of the matter, the root of the issue, on the ethics, on the integrity, on the education, how we educate in terms of values, in terms of integrity, so that plagiarism is no longer an issue. We don't have to use the tools to check, because people, students are smart. They can find a way to work around, and there are also already tools. From ChatGPT, we can put in another tool like Quillball and so on, so that when we put then in the plagiarism check, it will say 100% or 99% human or real, not from machine. There'll be no end to it, and I don't think that is the right direction to go. Personally, that's my personal opinion, my personal take on the issue. All right, so the last part, AI in action, I think we can, at this point in time, I think we can take 5 minutes break. Dr. Omaima, boleh? We give a chance for the participant, take 5 minutes
Yes,
break,
please.
then we
Yes,
can
sure,
continue.
please.
So
Yeah.
now we can probably start again at 5, 6
Five
minutes,
after.
yeah, or 10 minutes past 11 maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
we shall have a break, a coffee break or tea break for 10 minutes, and we'll be get back 10 minutes after 11 o'clock. Okay.
10
Stay
minutes
tuned
after
with
11.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, stay tuned, stay tuned. Okay, Dr. Maima, shall we
Yes.
continue?
Sure,
Thank
Prof,
you.
for the second part of
Welcome back.
you.
I hope the participants, the audience are still here. Okay, so during the break, I picked up some questions or statement or comment here. Yeah, I saw people from SIDC, Security Commission also here, so Security SIDC, yeah. So thank you very much for joining. Yeah, Dr. Who asked this question just now? Dr. Dora, Professor Dora. Is this ChatGPT also sentient? Sentient means, have emotion or feeling, right? Of course, if you try to play with the emotion, you can type something on ChatGPT. They can kind of say, "Oh, I'm a machine. I'm a language learning model. I don't have feeling," and so on. Well, I think it's not there yet. But who knows? Who knows? Yeah, things are evolving. We cannot imagine. Yeah, there's one comment. Yes, agree, Prof. I remember a book title where I need a teacher when I have a Google. I have read the book. So now maybe someone here can write a book. Why I need a teacher when I have ChatGPT? Who first will come up with this book? Okay. Maybe the pensioner, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I mentioned about I'm going to demonstrate shortly. We can create a quiz or MCQ. Then we can ask ChatGPT to prepare the feedback for each answer. Why do we want to do this? Because when we prepare the quiz, for example, I use Socrative app to prepare the quiz. And I let the students do the quiz on their own before they come to the class or after the class. So this part of the flipped classroom, yeah. So let's say give them 10 question or 5 question MCQ. So when they do it on their own, when they answer correctly or incorrectly, they will get the feedback. Okay, they will get the feedback. They answer A correct, they get feedback why the answer is correct. They answer E incorrect, they will get the feedback why the answer is incorrect. So can you imagine? These are actually the best way to give a feedback, and the students start to learn before even they come to the classroom, or as a reinforcement after the classroom, after they have learned the topic. To prepare such a type of quiz is difficult, time consuming. You have to crack your head. But with ChatGPT, it's just a breeze. Okay, right. So I'll go back to this one, AI in action. Okay, I'll skip this one. Okay, what can ChatGPT do for teachers? So I just asked ChatGPT, what can you do? Please suggest 20 use case. These are some of the things that they can do. You can do the same. You can Google, you can just ask ChatGPT, tell me more for each one of these. Number one, providing student with personalized feedback. Then ChatGPT will give you more detail. So I don't want to go through this 20, so many things they can do for us. But actually to get the best out of ChatGPT, we have to be smart. Okay, so these are some of the tips for getting better or good answers with ChatGPT. Because the quality of ChatGPT's answer or output is directly influenced by how well the questions or instruction, they call it prompt, is crafted, is formulated. This is what we call prompt engineering. And from what I read, it can become another profession from engineers, from engineering experts. Okay, so we can unleash and unlock the full power of ChatGPT by learning how to craft, how to write good prompt. And there are so many information out there. For example, this one I shared in my Facebook group recently. ChatGPT cheat sheet. 100 plus prompts to unlock all the power of ChatGPT. You can Google. If you cannot find it, go to my Facebook group, the World of Academia. Join the group because I'm sharing almost every few days, every week, something new that I discovered, that I came across on ChatGPT. 100 plus prompts for education, for marketing, for all sort of things. So we learn how people do it, give it a try and error, then sooner or later, we will become expert, we'll become master. I still have a long way to go. I'm not yet fully utilize the power of ChatGPT. So you can see here, this is one example, list of prompt for writing, list of prompt for creativity, list of prompt for academic, and so on and so forth. So much so that mastering the prompt or learning the skill to craft a good prompt is a skill. It's a valuable skill in the future. I think that's one of the so-called, should be added in one of the 21st century skill, or the 4.0, education 4.0 skill, or 5.0, whatever version that you want to give. Okay, jobs of the future, AI prompt engineer. Okay, some of the tricks of the trade when we use ChatGPT, and this, I put together some of this and I have experienced it already. We have to ask specific questions and explain the context of the questions, give context. Otherwise, it will give you very general output, very general answers, very general response, maybe not so useful. Give context, okay? I'll show the example. Make sure your instruction or your request or your questions is clear and precise, specific. Try to be short, concise, and easy to understand. Of course, they are very intelligent, they are very smart, yeah? But try to make it clear, easy to understand so that it won't give you output that is not very useful. If you feel that the response first time when you put the question, your instruction, you don't get what you really want, then maybe it's insufficient or incomplete. Ask it to elaborate. Please elaborate by giving specific examples related to the topic. For example, please elaborate by giving at least 5 specific examples. Something like that. Or request ChatGPT to reformulate its response. So you can click the regenerate, or rather give a more specific instruction, gives more context, give more example, what exactly you want. For example, when usually what I do, the second instruction, the second request, I say, okay, please add in your response this point, 1, 2, 3. Then you will get a proper or better answer, improved version of it. More targeted, more focused, more tailored to what you want, and more. Request ChatGPT to format output using a particular format. For example, list or table. Table is one of my favorite. Okay, please do this in a table format, or please give a list of this, and so on. So that's a very good. Pay attention to word choice in your prompts. Avoid using jargon or slang. Just because ChatGPT is smart, don't take for granted. You don't want to waste your time. So craft or formulate your instruction, your prompt, in the best possible way. If you feel the response is incomplete, asked to elaborate and reformulate. Okay, I think that's repeat. Now, so what's next? What's next? We all want to be the master of ChatGPT, adept, yeah? Be very smart in using ChatGPT so that we can get the best out of it. And remember, don't forget that ChatGPT is anti ChatGPT. It's conversational chat. So let's chat with them, yeah? And I want to encourage all of you to join my Facebook group, The World of Academia. Previously, the name of this Facebook group is Young Aspiring Academic, but I realized there are not there are some of not so young academics also in the group. So now I changed the name, The World of Academia, and this is my tagline. If you want to change the world, start by changing your classroom. And ladies and gentlemen, ChatGPT is here to help us. Okay. Now, demo. Which one to go first? I think I will start with this one. Prepare learning events using Garnier 9 events of instruction. Why? Because every one of us, every day, every week, we want to prepare a lesson plan, right? I'm not talking the one that you have in your OBE file that is for the auditors to see. But what's really happening in the classroom, minute by minute. This is where I would strongly recommend. Well, my favorite is Garnier 9 events of instruction. And my God, with ChatGPT, I can do it in minutes. Okay, so that's why I want to start with that first. Then after that, I will show other things. Okay. Now, what is 9 event of instruction? Garnier 9 events of instruction. This is actually a sequence of event for, let's say, one session of the classroom. It can be 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever. So the first thing, we have to gain attention of the students. Then inform what is the objective. What are we going to learn today? The learning outcome. Then before you jump into the session, check the prior learning, prior knowledge. What have they learned last week? What have you learned before you register, before you enroll in this course? What have you learned in previous courses last semester, last year? Check their readiness by checking the prior knowledge. That's a very good concept. Starting from here, then to here, then you want to connect them. Today, you are going to learn this, we connect with what you have learned, prior learning. Then only you start. Maybe lecture, plus some activities and so on. Provide guidance. Then allow some time for them to practice. Then provide feedback towards the end. So you can do the closure, check for misconception, ask them to reflect, 3 minutes paper, whatnot, assess performance. And then enhance retention and transfer to the job. That's, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are not familiar, I would strongly encourage all of you to use 9 events of instruction. It's a really powerful technique to plan the lesson. There's a very nice poster here so that you can see detail what is in each step. Gain attention, inform objective, stimulate recall of prior learning, present the content, provide guidance, elicit performance, provide feedback, assess performance, enhance retention and learning transfer. So let's jump to ChatGPT and let's do this. Shall we? Oops. Yeah, this is ChatGPT. Of course, I'm not going to show you how to sign up. I'm sure many of you have signed up. I have yet to upgrade, but I think soon I will upgrade. $20 a month. What is $20? The value is actually perhaps $2,000 a month with the things that it can do. All right. Now, to save time, what I want to do now is I want to prepare 1 hour lesson plan using Garnier 9 events of instruction. Prompt number 1. Okay, prompt number 1. So I just click here. So I want you, hey ChatGPT, I want you to act as an expert instructional designer. So we kind of praise them, compliment them, and tell them to behave or to pretend to be something, so that they go to the mindset on the background, of course. What is instructional designer? They learn, oh, this instructional designer, this is what they do, this is their expertise. Okay, please list the 5 most popular instructional model. Why I don't go straight to asking ChatGPT to design the lesson plan using Garnier 9 event of instruction? Remember context. So usually, based on my from what I've read, from what I observe, context is very important. Make sure we give some context. Make sure that ChatGPT really understand what exactly we want them to do. We want ChatGPT to do. Okay, so because it is about lesson plan, instructional plan, so this related to the instructional, being the instructional designer. So we want ChatGPT to act, to go into the mindset of expert, not ordinary instructional designer, but expert instructional designer. That's the context. So let's see. Alamak, error. Okay, tak apa. Error pula. Verify you are human. I am. Okay, let's start again. I just refresh just in case. I was considering to upgrade to Plus yesterday, so that I don't have this issue, tapi tak sempat. Okay, tak apa. Try again. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya, Alhamdulillah. Doa ya.
Wow.
Okay. As an expert designer, dia kata, as an expert instructional designer, oh, time flies so fast. Huh? I can tell you that there are many instructional models to choose from. Wow, Eddie, Bloom's, Garnier. Number 3 here. Garnier 9 events of instruction. Merrill's first principle. For, macam-macam lagi. Kita boleh minta dia lebih lagi. Give me 5 more. Ya, so kita boleh minta dia. Give me 5 more. Sure. Dia tak pernah refuse. Dia tak mengenal erti penat. Ya, baguslah ChatGPT ni. Okay, cukup. Okay, I nak ambil number 3. Garnier 9 events of instruction. Okay, my prompt number 2, number 3 now. Puji dia sikit. Actually, dia tak ada feeling kan, tapi tak apalah. Kita biasa, kita courtesy lah kan, walaupun dengan machine kan, dengan AI. Great. Please give me more details on Garnier 9 events of instruction. Tengok betul ke dia faham Garnier 9 event of instruction tu apa dia. Context, remember context, okay? Gain attention. Oh, I just love it. This is now how we can learn in real time. Okay? Sambil dia type tu, sambil kita baca. So kita alert lah. Saya sukalah sekarang ni membaca dengan ChatGPT sebenarnya. Okay, kita tengok. Okay, betul. Faham, dia faham. Okay, the third prompt. Now, you dah faham? Okay, prompt number 3, 4. Using Garnier 9 events of instruction, please prepare. Oh, please lagi tu. Polite betul ya. Tak payah please pun tak apa. Please prepare a 1 hour lesson. See, specific 1 hour lesson plan on the topic of food emulsifier. The target group, try to give context. is second year university student context. The topic is part of a course on food ingredients. Tak tahulah kalau lebih banyak konteks lebih bagus, tapi bagi je lah. Kan? Okay, tengok apa kita dapat. What can we get from Chat GPT? Sure. Here's a lesson plan. Event 1. Gain attention. 5 minutes. Wah, dia bagi sekali duration. Berapa lama you nak buat gain attention? Because you tell, I tell Chat GPT this is 1 hour. So please design for 1 hour lesson. So they break it on, they break down into 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, inform learners 2 minutes, stimulate recall 5 minutes, present the material 20 minutes. Pandai dia, because present the material ni maybe take more time. Pandai, bagus. Provide learning guidance 10 minutes, elicit performance 5 minutes, assess performance, enhance retention and transfer 3 minutes. Wow, in minutes only. My life is easy now. Okay, apa lagi kena buat? Prompt number 5. Okay, tadi dia kata gain attention, begin with this. Tengok, dia very specific tau, sebab the topic is on food emulsifiers. Begin with this one and ask them how to think and so on. Tak puas hati, I'm not happy, I'm not satisfied. So please give me more example, 5 more example to gain attention. Here. Okay. Sure. Sure saja, tak pernah yang no. Okay. Wow. 5 more specific example on gain attention alone. Wow.
So fast.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing. Siap sekali, okay. Use a visual aid such as graph and so on. Or ask a thought-provoking question related to the topic. Have you ever wondered why some people are left-handed while others are right-handed? Okay, thank you, great. But can you give more thought-provoking
Question.
questions? More captivating. Tengok apa dia buat. Wow. Kita push dia. Push dia. You know, push more. Push more. All right. Okay. What else? Dia kata, not good enough. Please give more example to gain attention by giving specific example related to the topic. Apa dia kata? Wow. Push further. Push further. If you are not happy with the response. When I went through this one, my first try with this, I was wow. Memang semuanya I boleh gunakan. Yeah, all the output given, I can use it actually. And I imagine now I have retired. Oh my God, I want to go back and teach this course. Yeah. Okay. What about the part which in Ghanaian and events, elicit performance here. I don't have much idea. Maybe now ChatGPT can help me. So please elaborate on elicit performance by giving specific example. And so on and so forth. You got the idea. You get the idea then? Okay, done. That's the first example. Okay. Any question at this point?
Prof, they will ask the Chat GPT for the
Sorry?
question and answer.
So, sorry again, Dr. Isma, Prof. Isma, yeah.
Dr. Isma, Prof.
Okay.
They will then type at the Chat GPT to get the answer. I find out that Chat GPT also can create
Answer.
a
Answer.
poem.
Oh, yeah, yeah. A lot more. Yeah.
Yes, berpantun pun boleh, Prof.
Pantun I have tried tapi tak menjadi sangat. Mungkin I punya prompt tak cukup bagus. Okay, now we have done. Yeah.
Pantun bahasa Melayu tak masuk akal.
Okay, but it is evolving. It is evolving. Can you imagine if we feed ChatGPT with thousands of books on Pantun Melayu and so on, then you'll find that they can do the job better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just amount of the data, yet not enough. Okay. Now, the next one that I want to demo, to prepare MCQ questions at different levels of Bloom taxonomy, then help us to prepare the answer or the feedback for each answer. Okay, let me demo to you. Okay, mind map nanti dulu. Okay, prepare MCQ questions. Okay, this is an example of prompt that we can use. I will start a new chat. Okay. I want you to act now. Tadi instruction di sana. Yang ini pula, I want you to act as an industry expert on food ingredients. So the course is actually on food ingredients. I think my colleagues probably is following the webinar now from USM. I taught this course for many years. So the topic is food emulsifiers. We have about 8 topics. So what I want ChatGPT to do now, before I want to make sure ChatGPT have the context and have a proper knowledge. So now I give instruction to ChatGPT to study first all available materials on food emulsifiers and make sure that he understood, he or she, ChatGPT understood, okay? Auntie understood, Auntie ChatGPT, so it must be she. Okay. Oh, yes, Auntie understand. Okay. Okay. Dia faham later. Okay. Now, what I want you to do now, write multiple choice questions on this topic. So usually, topic tu, I put in a bracket, add another bracket, but different type of bracket, level of Bloom taxonomy. This is where kind of dalam programming dipanggil apa, syntax ya, the structure, the language structure. So this is where we can replace the topic with the name of the topic and the level of Bloom taxonomy with the level that we want. The question should have, okay, this is instruction clear, 1 correct answer, 4 distractors, label A to E. Each answer should have an explanation. Ini feedback. Nanti kita boleh sediakan dalam Socrative or whatever tools that you use to prepare the quiz, Google Form or whatever. Okay. Please indicate the level of Bloom taxonomy for each question. Now, add topic. So the topic is food emulsifiers. Level of Bloom taxonomy, I nak dia buat level application.
Okay.
Kalau kita suruh dia buat different level, then kita kata indicate the level of Bloom taxonomy. Tapi kalau kita nak hanya 1 level, tak payahlah. Okay. Tengok jadi tak jadi ya. Tak jadi kita buat lain. Okay. Sure.
Yes, MCQ. Okay.
Senangnya hidupku.
Semalam.
Kalau dulu ada benda ni kan, saya rasa saya mungkin saya punya stress level kurang banyak kan. So when I prepare my quiz questions, let's say now I want to demonstrate. Wow. Let me let me show you how I do it. My workflow ya. So creative. Oh, ramai orang tak juga. Masih ramai educators yang tak gunakan so creative lagi ya. Okay, teacher login. A quick demo. How from ChatGPT to prepare the questions in Socrative. Hopefully betul lah. Nak check password. Maklumlah dah tak mengajar lagi. Salah. Come on. Come on, come on. Okay. Okay. This is how it looks like for those who are not familiar with. No. Okay. Quiz. Okay. Sorry. Dah lama tak pakai, lupa dah. Quiz. Yes. So it's to launch a quiz. So I want to create a new quiz.
Multiple choice, bro. Multiple choice. Pergi kat multiple choice.
Dah lama, dah berapa bulan tak pakai dah lupa dah. Where do I put the question? Aduh. Quick questions.
You copy the question from the Chat GPT and put inside the multiple choice.
Yeah, but I want to create the question first, baru copy benda tu. Masalahnya, dia under quiz kan, nak untuk create a new ni ataupun, okay. I'm sorry for the ni because
Prof ke library, Prof, and then Prof lay add.
library, okay.
Ada add belah atas tu, Prof.
Add, okay.
New quiz. Okay.
That's what a few months of retirement has done to me. Okay. Chat GPT. Okay. MC. Okay. So go back to the question
GPT.
just now. Which of the ni?
Oh, next one. Yang sebelah dia, Prof.
Yeah. I punya Webex ni dia block itu yang leceh sikit tu. Okay. So answer. Sekejap ya. Saya tutup ni dulu. Because when you have a small screen, then okay. So I just copy. Dan tenggam. Back here. Kerajinan.
Lecithin.
And student lecture. I have E, so add one more. Okay, cool. Like so, then I can add answer here. Sorry, explanation. This is the explanation. And the correct answer is lecithin. Right? So the correct answer is lecithin. And this is the explanation. Now I save and exit. So when the students, and I launch this quiz, ChatGPT, launch, whatever, launch. Then on the student side, I can on the show response, when the students do the quiz, they will answer, and whether the answer is correct or incorrect, they will get that explanation just now. Really very helpful to the students to learn. And imagine this, if you give 5 questions, 10 questions to cover the main content of your next class, by the time when they come to the class, they've got something already. You have given part of the content already. Very powerful, a flipped classroom model using a combination of Socrative, ChatGPT to help you to construct the questions and the feedback. Wow. Power ke tak power tu?
Awesome.
Yeah, power ke tak power? Awesome. Okay. I get a goosebump when I say this, you know. Okay, let's put another prompt. Create 5 open-ended questions. Ini satu MCQ. I can say create 5 more, 10 more MCQ with the same format. Then you get 10. Okay, let's try 5 open-ended questions on the application synthesis. No, just let's say application. Make it simple. On this at this level, on file on this topic at application level of Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, open-ended questions. Okay, Dr. Sharifah, are you here? So you don't have to struggle anymore. Yeah, you don't have to struggle.
Really helps.
Okay, wow, dah dapat soalan. If you want to have more, just say so. Now, I will ask ChatGPT to prepare a marking scheme or rubric for this question. Okay, for these questions. So I put question in the bracket, then I put the actual question in the bracket so that ChatGPT knows this is the question that it has to work on. So it'll give you the criteria assessment, the marking scheme, and so on. Oh,
It's really smart.
very smart. Very smart. Even better than what we can do, I think. It is better than what I can do. I know some of you are expert. Okay. I want, instead of this format, I want ChatGPT to prepare a sample answer for this question. Okay. You can also get ChatGPT to get this marking scheme in the form of table, also can. But I want to skip that. I want now ChatGPT to prepare the answer scheme for each question, these questions. These questions. And this is the questions. Sample answer. Oh, Dr. Sharifah.
Dera sangat ni, Prof.
Wah. Okay, dah dapat dah sample answer. Senang dah. Kemudian refer to the marking scheme, to the rubric, and assign lah. Semua 5 markah, 10 markah, whatever. Okay. That's the second. Alright. Apa lagi? maybe at this point, I want to invite Dr. Shamsul. Are you there? Maybe I will invite my colleague, Dr. Shamsul.
Yes, Prof. I'm here, Prof.
Okay. Can you take over and share the screen? And okay, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, my dear colleagues, Dr. Shamsul, the young guy here from UITM Shalam, he's an expert. He's from education background, so he's the right person actually to talk about assessment and assessment now with ChatGPT. Okay, Dr. Shamsul, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
by
you,
the way,
Prof. Karim.
time check dulu.
Alright.
Dr. Umaima,
Yes.
kita punya program ni sampai pukul berapa exactly?
12:30, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good. Okay, Dr. Shamsul, maybe you can take over for a while.
All right, okay, Prof. No problem, Prof. Thank you for this opportunity, Prof. Giving me a space to share a little bit of knowledge about how to use ChatGPT. Be a friend of ChatGPT maybe around 2 months. Then from since last 2 months, I start to learn on a few things. Especially we are talking about the programming language and how does the algorithm and pattern also give some sort of impact when we choose what is the best for our assessment approach. And again, one of the bigger challenge when we use the ChatGPT, we are talking about the similarity and legibility, legitibility, the legit, whether the sources that we gain from the ChatGPT, whether it's legit or not. So these are the few things that we need to be very consider while using the ChatGPT. And perhaps, Prof. Karim, since last 2 months, I'm using a few approach of assessment, not only looking at on designing questions randomly, but also emphasizing on the use of Socratic question technique and how do you apply the anatomy of a good developing a good questions in the perspective of giving student a good a quality item for them. And perhaps that based on my experience, it's really easy to use ChatGPT to gain some information we call as a declarative knowledge. But again, I treat the ChatGPT as a process based, meaning that we learn from the process and start to use our knowledge and wisdom to choose what is the best for us. So these are a few examples that I did for this session. I already put everything in the ChatGPT, and also we can maybe discuss and look how the ChatGPT respond when we were to when we want to develop one questions. So, all right, okay, we start. In this session, I will share with you how from the MCQ I turn over into the open-ended questions. And after that, how can I compare the student works and create a rubric, also a marking scheme, and give us some sort of information. How do we compare and also give a feedback to our students? All right. Same like what Prof. Karim shared with you. These are one of the examples of the questions that I provide to the ChatGPT. And what I learned from the ChatGPT is we need to somehow be precise and concise what we need. So I tend to use a very simple language, but again, put certain verbs, context, and also standard to make sure that I can construct what I need. So according to this session, all right, according to this sample, so I am now proposing to have a MCQ, complex MCQ questions, but I provide them some sort of condition with the 4 alternative, 1 right answer, and the sets of question that we set for that for this MCQ is 1 minute and 30 seconds. And the ChatGPT give us some sort of suggestion, and perhaps that I ask the ChatGPT what is the best answer. And what if the student provide us with the wrong answer? So these are the feedback that student will gain that you can give to your student. And perhaps the most important part here is with the same instrument, with the same context, how can we change from MCQ into the short answer? All right. So with the same question, with the same level of difficulty, now I transform into the short answer and the ChatGPT provide me this suggestion. Just a matter of, for now, you need to be more precise because of if you want that question have a certain criteria then you start to recompose the answers and the keyword, and you're asking back to the ChatGPT and let them to put their suggestion. And in my experience, I like to give more specific condition to make sure that I just get what I need instead of there are a lot of information that ChatGPT give to us. So I start to give more, be more very specific with what I need. And from this short answer, I try my best also to use the same context but design in the forms of open-ended question. So with the same context, with the same condition, with the same verbs. So they are providing me this kind of answer uh, uh, to my students, but this open-ended question with the duration of 30 minutes. And if you can see here, I changed the verb into the evaluate C5, and this question already provided as in the screen. And if let's say, if I want to conduct the open-ended questions within 30 minutes, and I want to conduct maybe in the classroom, how can I prepare the activity-based outline? So embedding the context and also the formative assessment. So the ChatGPT gives me this some sort of information. So what triggered me here is, how can we design the inquiry-based question? So I put again a standard, all right? So for the reading and discussion, create 2 inquiry-based questions, and then ChatGPT give me the question and also how can we prompt based on that questions. And the next thing that I propose to ChatGPT is embedding the previous activity-based outline, and you will get a complete activity-based outline, not only focus on the content, but also you can conduct your formative assessment in your classroom. So it's more like on how can we be more precise and concise what we need for our lesson or maybe for our assessment. All right, that is one part. So how can we design the open-ended questions? All right. Use the same context. So we can be very specific, but what I want to share here is how can the ChatGPT not only provide a question, but also we design the preamble of the questions. So if you can see here, the open-ended question, I provide the preamble and also the questions and how and what is the keyword for that answers. And these are the proposed keyword. And from this keyword, all right, so I try to create a one rubric, all right, with the allocation of mark 30% and divide that accordingly. So these are the forms of criteria and also the percentage that we can create it by using the ChatGPT. All right. And even you also can revise your criteria, your Likert skills, your descriptors, and also you can reallocate your mark according to your need. So at the end of the day, you will notice that maybe these are the kind of rubric that you need for your rubric on regards of the open-ended questions. All right. Okay. This is how that the ChatGPT help us to understand what is the best maybe rubric that we can provide. You also can eliminate the descriptor, the criteria, and replace with the new one. So you also can have that adjustment later. But one more very interesting part is, how do we compare the student work? This one is the actual cases. All right. So these are the questions that I give to my student. All right. So they're talking about the active learning to engage and construct meaningful learning. And it will create the opportunity for the student progress and development. And they are required to share the best practice of declarative and non-declarative model of framework and relate the chosen framework in the context. So that's the questions. So what I did here is, I paste this one is the student answer. All right. So I paste the student answer. All right. And I let the ChatGPT to analyze and provide the feedback on this reflective writing. So these are the answers. All right. So I want to understand what kind of feedback that ChatGPT can give to me, and also how can I use my own knowledge to justify whether me and ChatGPT have the same idea or we have some sort of maybe a different idea. All right. And on that note, so from this idea, I try to create the rubric, but at this point of time, I set the criteria. I want to see the oral explanation, the originality, and the novelty with a full descriptor using the 5 Likert skills and 30% of marks, and I ask the ChatGPT to design a rubric to me. So this is where the ChatGPT rubric design a rubric to me. All right. So these are the these are the Likert skills. So these are the marks. All right. And the full mark is 15. All right. And this one is not sufficient enough maybe. So I need more well-explained descriptors. So I revise back the rubric and ask them to regenerate a new rubric. So they come up with this kind of rubric, much better from the previous version. All right. So I just want to challenge whether we can compare the student works. So I get another second text from my students and I paste it here. I compare the marks using the extended rubric with the first student and the second student in comparison table. So don't be surprised because of this ChatGPT able to compare the first student and the second student. All right. So you will see the marks here and also which one student get better compared to student 1 and student 2. And this also the descriptions. And because of these two ideas is very good, I asked the ChatGPT to chunk the reflective writing from both student into the table. So the ChatGPT chunk the both idea according to the criteria. I want to just to understand what are two difference between this reflective writing, the first reflective writing and the second reflective writing, and then, all right, what I can get from here. All right. Wait, yeah. Okay. All right. So then what I can get here is I combine these two ideas. The first one, I chunk the idea, and after that, I combine these two ideas and reconstruct a new reflective writing based on both ideas. And the ChatGPT helped me to reconstruct these two ideas, become the new ideas, and at the end of the day, you will get a new versions of reflective writing based on that questions. All right. So this is where that the idea of chunking, the idea of composing, the idea of adding some criteria is actually can be done with the ChatGPT. So these are the few example, Prof, that I can share with the rest. I think that you need more time to explain more, but I think that these are the potential and also the idea of giving, the idea of using ChatGPT more than seeking for the declarative knowledge. So we can do more. Just a matter of we need to understand the language, the pattern, the algorithms, and also how can we understand the anatomy of design a good question, Prof. So that's all from me, Prof.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shamsul. So it boils down to the prompt. And the prompt, how do we devise, how do we craft, how do we write the prompt? So that's the skill that we need to learn in order to unleash or unlock the power of ChatGPT. I think it's a very good example. Okay, next demo. Let me share screen again. Thank you so much, Dr. Shamsul. Please
Okay,
stay on.
no problem. All right.
Maybe you can also help me to answer some of the questions in the chat. Okay. Now, all right. Boleh nampak balik screen Boleh
Yep, boleh Prof. Sure.
Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to share okay, this one, use ChatGPT to prepare questions for Socratic, not Socrative, Socrative yang tadi app yang I pakai tadi, Socratic method. If you don't know what Socratic method, watch the YouTube, read, or maybe ask ChatGPT what is Socratic method. Why not? Okay. But I tell you, even without state-of-the-art technology, Socratic method is a so-called, well, it has been used by Socratic in the old days. It's a low-tech kind of approach, which is very engaging, really engage students cognitively. But from my experience, when I tried last time to prepare for this Socratic method, Socratic questioning, I need to crack my head, really. So I end up sometimes buat tak buat, you know. But now let me demonstrate to you how JGPT can solve my problem and make my life easy. Right, so questioning with Socratic method. So example of prompt. Now, ChatGPT, are you ready? I want you to act as a Socrative. Socrate, as Socrate, as a Socrate. Okay, never mind. You must use a Socratic method to continue questioning my statement in the bracket. Then I will give a statement. I will make a statement and you, ChatGPT, will attempt to question and challenge every statement further to test my logic. So bila kita buat dalam classroom nanti, ChatGPT will be us. And the questions will come from the student and we will question them back. That is what I understand with Socratic. You will respond one line at a time. Okay, this is my first statement. Okay, my first statement is ini dia. Okay, this is my first statement. Okay. My statement, I challenge ChatGPT. I kata, in my opinion, ChatGPT will make teachers irrelevant. Tengok apa dia kata. So kalau kita start ni, debate atau discussion ni, intellectual discourse dalam kelas on one topic, then kita kata, okay, in my opinion, ChatGPT will make teachers irrelevant. What say you? What's your take? Then, why do you believe that ChatGPT will make teachers irrelevant? Because ChatGPT is so clever that it can do everything that teacher does. Is it possible for ChatGPT to replace the human interaction and personalization that a teacher can provide? I think so. I believe so. Believe ni lebih affirmative lagi kan? I believe so. What say you? Dia tak jawab. Dalam Socratic method ni, dia tak give direct answer. They try to ask series of questions, but those questions are formulated in such a way to lead the questioner or the learner or the student towards the answer. That's, ladies and gentlemen, a short demo how we can use ChatGPT to help us to design Socratic method questioning, series of questions. Very powerful method. If you are not familiar, you might want to read up and start to apply. This one doesn't require much technology in the classroom, but the technology come in the form of AI, ChatGPT, to help you prepare a series of thought-provoking, critical questions. Okay. All right. Kiman, are you here, Kiman? Chua Kiman? Okay, actually I invite also Mr. Chua Kiman because Chua Kiman ni banyak ilmu dia ya. Banyak dia punya tips and tricks of the trade. Tapi he is also conducting a webinar or a workshop and he said if kalau sempat dia nak masuk dia akan join tapi he's not here I think.
No, not here.
Okay, not here. In that case, I will continue with another demo. Then I will stop. Then maybe the rest of the time that we have, we can look at some question and you can also answer questions. Okay, what's next I want to show? Well, improve a sentence. That's very basic. For example, yeah. Okay. If you don't have access to Grammarly, the full version of Grammarly or Quillbot, why not try use ChatGPT? Please improve the sentence a bit appeal, or let's see what's the response. Okay, something different. Try to generate again if you're not happy. Okay, and so on. Okay, right now, okay, let's say I have one article, quite long, and I want ChatGPT to prepare quiz questions based on this article. So what I can do, if the article is on the website, you can give the link. But I find that it is more accurate if you copy the whole article. So for example, I take this article from this website. Again, on the topic, same topic on emulsifiers from this journal, from this magazine. Okay, so I copy all the article here. So and just paste it. And before that, the instruction is please prepare just now ataupun simple one lah. Please create 5 ended questions. Create 5 open-ended question at synthesis level of Bloom's taxonomy for this text. Then put the text. Oh, sorry, I copy balik. The whole text for this text. So okay, so that's how it looks like. Whole text. Then this is the prompt. Yeah, this is the prompt. Okay, this is the prompt and the text. So I asked ChatGPT to create 5 open-ended questions at the synthesis level of Bloom taxonomy. So what's the outcome? Let's see. All right, good. It works. Sometimes, if the text is too long, then it will give you a message. The text is too long. Then it doesn't give you the required response. What you can do is you can I have one example. You can separate the text into 5, 4, 3 parts, then give instruction to ChatGPT, okay, I will provide you with the article in 3 parts. I will share first the first part, then next second part, then the third part. Please respond to this question, or to this instruction, only after I have shared the final part. So that is something you can do. If ChatGPT give you a response that it cannot, the text too long, and because this is a free version now, if you subscribe, then maybe there will be no limit as to how long the text that you can paste. I have discovered that sometimes it give you this message. So that's how you can do. Divide into different parts. Tell ChatGPT, okay, since the article is too long, now I'm giving you, I have divided into 3 parts, 5 parts, or whatever. So this is what you need to do after I have shared the final part. Don't respond anything until I have given you the final part of the text of the article. Okay. Last but not least, maybe I can demonstrate to you. Okay, just now based on this article dia buat question. So now maybe why not kita buat mind map based on the same article. Create the map on the text above. I don't know whether you really need to put above or not, because it doesn't have that. I think doesn't have that kind of space, sense of space. I'm not sure. Okay, let's try. Jadi ke tak jadi? List the central idea, main branches, and sub branches. Or else you can put the text again like this. Oops. But I'm not sure. Kita try dulu. Jadi tak jadi. Kalau tak jadi, then kita repeat the. Okay. Let's see. Mind map. Oh, I'm sorry. I need more information. Okay, fine. So copy the text again. Text. And this is a text in bracket. Okay. Yeah, all right. It works. Sub branches. Maybe. Okay, please give more details. Okay, you get more details. Then use any apa tu mind mapping tools, and just use the structure here. Okay, so that's, ladies and gentlemen, the second part here to show some of the use cases. There are many more. So I would encourage you to explore, watch the YouTubes, join on Facebook, join the the Facebook group. Where is the Facebook? Yeah. Okay. You can join the group, the World of Academia here. I share a lot of stuff on on AI and Chat GPT, or you just find Chat GPT. You see, join Chat GPT community, Chat GPT, OpenAI, and so on. And this is where I pick up a lot of tips, tricks of the trade, new development, and so on. And I share some of it on this group as well. So please join this group so that we can learn together. Okay. What else I want to say here? So some of the key takeaways from today's session this morning. I hope you have learned something. But as a takeaway message for me, educators can leverage this technology, harness and leverage this technology to develop engaging learning materials and provide feedback to students that meet their unique needs. Actually, we can make learning more personalized now by using the power of ChatGPT. Integrating ChatGPT into the classroom requires practical strategies that can be learned through interactive sessions and an example of its application in the real-world scenarios. With the knowledge gained from the webinar, educators can develop a clear vision of how AI can transform education and prepare their students for the future. I hope by implementing these ideas in your classroom, educators can revolutionize their teaching practices and take their students' learning to the new height. And I just want to share again this slide, from Sugata Mitra. Dia kata it took nature 100 million years to make the ape stand up and become Homo sapien, but it take us only 10,000 years to make knowing obsolete. So it's no longer about knowing, goes beyond that, yeah. Because by knowing the facts, we can use Uncle Google, and we can use Auntie ChatGPT. Okay, so learning now become a new skill. We have to kind of develop a new kind of learning skill. We need now to really apply our imagination, creation, and asking new questions. All this time, we want our students to have more imagination, but I think it's time for us now also to be more imaginative, more creative, and start to ask new questions. What kind of questions? How can we still be relevant and bring values to our classroom that Uncle Google and Auntie GPT cannot provide? Yeah. So thank you so much. I will check the question shortly. But before that, I think every one of you, maybe if you're interested to download the PowerPoint, please capture this screen, download the PPT, and there is one resource that I'm sharing with you. When you click this link, it will take to my own personal file.
Yep.
Yeah, resource where I save all the best resources that I can find on ChatGPT. It's actually meant for me, but now I'm sharing with the audience, so feel free. And that list is live, evolving. As I discover new things, new stuff, of course, the best one, I will add to that list. So feel free to share the list with everyone. Yeah. FOC, free of charge. But I just want to request one thing. Please doa good health for me so that I can do more for the education community. Yeah. So I think that's about all, Dr. Maima. Kalau kita nak tengok some of the questions, we can do that as well.
Yes.
Thank you so
yes.
much, everyone.
Yes. Yes, Prof. Thank you so much, Prof. and Dr. Samshul. So shall we take one or two questions? So anyone, is it from the chatbot ataupun those who want to straight away to ask question to Prof. and also Dr. Samshul, you are free to do so.
Just now I saw something to do with this question or comment about emotion. I think from
Yeah.
was it from Prof. Dura? Maybe Prof.
Dura.
Dura, you want to say something? Prof. Dura,
Dura, are you here?
UTM ke?
I think Dura is from UMT.
UMT. Okay. I'm trying to scroll now to find that something on emotion just now. Or maybe she has left. She has left. Yeah. Anyway,
Assalamualaikum,
what else?
Prof.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Shahida here. A quick
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Quick question will be, since ChatGPT is already here right now, right? For assessment of the students, do you think that we should be going more towards test, exam oriented compared to assignments now?
That's a very FAQ lah, frequently asked question kan. And as I mentioned earlier, assessment is one area that really we need to focus on, and we need expert like Dr. Shamsul and others. Those people are working on assessment to help us now to answer such question, Dr. Shahida. Of course, I'm not going to answer that directly because I also don't know which direction that we should take. But for sure, assessment has to evolve along with the technology, AI and ChatGPT. In what form? Whether we need to have more summative, less formative, or more formative, less summative, or even the different kind of assessment altogether. The thing with formative assessment now, the argument is, wow, formative assessment, if you put 70% there, 60% there, the students can basically use everything using ChatGPT. So what's the meaning of that? Can they really learn something? Can they really achieve the learning outcome, whatever that we have set out in our course? So maybe now we need to go to summative. Maybe the assessment now will be like a face-to-face, one-to-one kind of interview. Or I don't know. This is, to me, a fast evolving area. Assessment in the era of artificial intelligence. But maybe Prof. Shamsul can add something there because he's the expert.
Yes, probably quite frequent question. Asking about whether we want to retain the final examination we call as a knowledge measurement kind of assessment, or we want to move into the holistic assessment or alternative assessment. But again, when we'll deal with alternative assessment, then the ChatGPT coming in. So I think that one of the thing yang kita nak kena lihat, Prof, we as a lecturer, how do we able to articulate and curate whatever provide in the ChatGPT and make it in the context of our field of expertise. So now currently, I think that the ChatGPT give us all the kind of information, a big amount of information. Just a matter of if we can sharpen our skill set in articulates and also curate, Prof. I think that we can come up with a very good questions. So, but then it's a challenge for us juga, Prof, because of we are talking about what means by a good questions. All right. So whether what kind of focus and what kind of purpose when we design that questions. Selalu benda-benda perkara-perkara beginilah, Prof, yang selalu kita bincangkan. Just a matter of maybe before this we are focused on the cognitive difficulty. So we are looking on from the understanding into the what we call solving the problem. But how do we see in the perspective of knowledge dimension? So design the questions not only taking care of the Bloom taxonomy difficulty, but also the knowledge dimension. How can we construct the question based or according to that dimension? So mungkin perkara-perkara beginilah, Prof, yang kita boleh explore. Then we use the ChatGPT to orang kata apa, as a second brain untuk bantu kita, Prof. Macam saya katakan tadi, Prof, but we have to be very careful because of whether the content is legit or not. Itu kita kena gunakan kita punya kepakaran kita juga, Prof. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of ChatGPT as our second brain or extended brain. Yeah, I don't know how much that Dr. Shamsul's answer really makes sense to us because a lot of things are still very vague at the moment. I think we need to have, maybe Unit 10 can do the next one. We focused as one whole session on assessment, and we can invite 2 or 3 speakers to share with us the actual way or some examples by using a real example of how we can utilize or leverage or harness the power of ChatGPT now with a new kind of alternative assessment. Something that is very practical, that educators, lecturers, teachers can just take this and contextualize it to their own subject matter, so that it can really help them to use ChatGPT
As a second.
effectively to help them with the assessment. And how best to do the assessment? One is to prepare the assessment. Then how best to assess the assessment, to assess students' learning from the assessment, taking into account the role of ChatGPT there. And honestly, I still I myself is still kind of vague, or in the sama-sama, how do we now create a new kind of assessment with ChatGPT as our extended brain for the teachers as well as for the students? So let's look at let's wait for another session focus on assessment, so that we can, I know, because there are a lot of questions on this aspect. Yeah, I look on the chat. Someone mentioned about emotional intelligence. If the person is still here, I just browsed just now. I saw emotional intelligence. What is it about emotional intelligence in the context of ChatGPT?
I think that's a question
Hi, Prof.
related. Is it the sentient?
Yeah, silakan.
Hi, Prof. Good
Ewan,
afternoon.
sentient, yeah.
My name is Albert Lim. I'm from Sunway. And
Dr.
we
Lim from
lost.
Sunway. Okay.
I
You're
posed a
losing.
question.
Okay.
I posed a question on emotional intelligence because that's
Yeah.
my area of
Yeah.
research also. And
Okay.
I actually met a student who was deep in thought. And I said, "What is the problem?" I said, "Wait, before you answer," I said, with boys your age, it's either girls or money. Which one is it?" He says, "Girl." I said, "So what's the problem?" So he told me the problem, and I summarized it, and I asked ChatGPT this question: what do I tell my girlfriend's father if he wants me to take over his business? So before that, I had given my advice with some Chinese proverbs of what you do. See, in the Asian culture is budaya kita lah, di Asia reticent. We are reticent because we were brought up to be speak only when spoken to. Okay, sebagai satu tanda hormat kepada orang tua dalam komuniti kita lah kan. So I gave him all this advice, and it blew my mind when ChatGPT gave the example that you must get him on your side first. You praise him for giving you the offer. Itu satu tanda hormat lah bagi orang tua kan. And it just blew my mind that and this will only get better because it will learn if other people join in that conversation, and he will give. It's an iterative process that it will learn not only in cognitive answers but also in emotional answers. So I think the potential is only limited by our imagination.
Exactly.
I think we really need to relook. No, the speed, the thing that blows my mind is the speed in which it trawls more than 100 million servers across the world and gives you a 200-word hypnosis in 30 seconds. And that power, I believe, can actually revolutionize OBE, objective-based education, boleh dihalusi to the personalized level yang Prof kata tadi. So we really need to relook at OBE, and this has given us the ability to actually drill down to every single student. Of course, with every new technology, there are three ways of using it lah. Proper use, misuse, dan abuse. So far, our students tend to go for the last one lah. So I think it's a brilliant thing. I think we should not. Ada orang yang bantah teknologi ini. Ada banyak US university pun dah ban access. I think it's a silly thing to do. You cannot fight this because the obsolescence rate of any new technology is very high. It's exponential. Lagi baik kita embrace, memeluk benda ini dan serve us lah. That's my 2 cents in my humble opinion. But it is starting to learn or generate, to my mind, by testing it, it's starting to have that capability, keupayaan untuk apa ni, to answer emotional issues also. That is the frightening part lah. Okay, thank you. That's my feedback.
Okay, okay, Dr. Lim. Yeah, I always say that technology is a tool. So a fool with a tool is still a fool. So it really depends on us how we can really utilize the tool with our own, with our own intelligence. Well, you say it blew your mind, right? The capability of ChatGPT. I hope your mind is still intact. It's not blown away. It's still
Temporary,
okay.
every time I ask question, I'm trying to find my mind and then recalibrate sikit lah.
Yeah. So it's all about, actually, it boils down to the prompt. The prompt, that's why they call it prompt engineering. I think I've seen several courses already. I have yet to join, but I plan to join some of these courses. It's not free, it's paid courses. I'm willing to pay because I want to be the first prompt engineer in Malaysia. Che. No lah, but I think it will be worthwhile. It will be worthwhile to invest so that we can really utilize the full power. And we never know what is the full power of AI.
Yeah.
And with GPT-4 is coming,
Mm-mm.
and ChatGPT and other AI tool will be trained on trillions of data. Only God knows what it can do. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, wow, there's so many questions
Question.
here. I
Yes.
don't think we can address everything unless we have another 2 hours. So I know up to the organizer. If anyone feel there's a burning questions or
Questions that
remarks
you
they
want.
want to share, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe just unmute the microphone.
Yes, please do so. While we have two experts here, Prof. Karim and also Dr. Syamsul.
Yeah, I don't feel hungry also. It's already almost 1. Yeah, don't worry about apa tu? Yeah, someone say about how to check for the
Artificial.
plagiarism. As I mentioned much earlier, to me that's not the way to go. We have to educate ourselves, educate our students, and maybe now if the KPT Ministry of Higher Education take the lead, maybe we need to even take the lead. Malaysia can take the lead to redefine what plagiarism is. Yeah, what plagiarism is in the context of all these AI tools, which become more and more powerful by this. I don't think checking for plagiarism, looking for tools to check for plagiarism is the answer, honestly. Right? Okay.
So there's no more question? Or we shall
Yeah.
just browse from the chat.
Aku tak tahu mana satu nak jawab.
Banyaknya soalan.
Yeah. Well, how? Wow. 100 something. It's amazing. It's
Yep.
amazing. Yeah.
In
That shows the interest in ChatGPT. Yeah. And by the way,
of this and it's something new. Yes.
on the 21st of March, we will bring another series of ChatGPT conversation, this time with the Vice Chancellor of Rector and Vice Chancellor of Heriot Ward University, CEO of Open Learning, Adam Brimo, and Professor Hasman, previously Deputy of MQA. Watch out for that, 21st of March, put in your diary, because we will talk about more on apa tajuk dia? Something like would ChatGPT make our students not to think anymore? Something like that. Lupa tajuk dia. It's about critical thinking and how do we now address, because the naturally now I'm also thinking about it. We become more and more lazy, to think, because it's so easy to get everything from ChatGPT. So I think for people like me, towards the end of orang kata the phase of life, we have sharpened our mind already, so it's sharp. So I'm not so worried about my own critical thinking and so on. But what we are worried now, the new generation of those still studying, the student and so on, if we allow them to use ChatGPT now, to what extent would we allow them so that we can still be able to develop their cognitive skill, critical thinking, problem solving, and so on? This is the critical questions that I don't think anyone, any expert even in the world, have the best answer for this. What kind of learning activity, what kind of assessment, and so on. How best we integrate ChatGPT, how we make sure that the students still think, how best we make sure that students still develop the critical thinking and so on, as if ChatGPT does not exist. No answer yet. So just follow the progress and the development. Don't miss this kind of webinar because it will spark our thinking and it will help us to deal with the issues rather than to run away. Don't run away because AI will catch up with us.
It's expanding from time to time.
Not only catch up, it will take over.
Yeah.
Not take over. It will apa ni orang kata apa? It will be always step or few
Ahead,
steps
yeah.
ahead of us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Boleh saya tanya soalan?
Yeah, sure.
Hi,
Yeah, sure.
salam Prof. Karim and Prof. Shamsul. I'm
Ah,
Dr.
yeah.
Shobha, and I'm a speech therapist by training, and I'm with UKM. I'm currently at Penjara Kanan, and I work a lot with patients with dementia. So what you have just said is fantastic because, I mean, we're talking about cognition, using the brain to prevent dementia from occurring. And then you have this entire generation that says, you know, you've got a clock, a regular analog clock sitting in front of you. And I've got a 14-year-old son who says, hey Siri, what's the time? You know, it's rather concerning. But Prof, I think you've kind of sort of introduced an addiction into me right now with ChatGPT.
Don't blame me.
It is amazing. I just used it so much. And I'm sorry, but you've just created an addict right now. But Prof, I noticed that you cannot, ChatGPT doesn't have the audio function, right? So you need to use Audacity or you need to use voice to text ke apa, sorry, text to voice ke apa. Can
Not
you
yet.
suggest something? Because I'm thinking right now, how can I use ChatGPT or a chatbot or something like that for text to speech, or you know, like to respond in speech? Ada ke anything in your experience that actually gives you an audio feedback as if there's another human on the other side?
Oh, ada. Melambak.
Alamak.
Melambak.
Ada, Prof.
Ada banyak.
Prof, I am going to be stalking both of you for advice.
My rate is expensive, you know.
Prof, mungkin akan dapat geran.
No, joking. But for your information, text to speech is not a new kind of. It's so many nowadays, and there are also AI based text to speech.
Yeah.
There are so many. At least the one that I've tried, 4 or 5, that is excellent. And the speech or the voice, unlike 5 years ago, doesn't sound like a robot, you know.
Absolutely. But Prof,
Yeah, it sounds like you basically.
The thing is, text to speech and speech to text, no problem. But kalau macam chatbot ni kita type dia balas lah kan. This one is, suppose a patient with dementia comes in and sits in front of this either ChatGPT or some app or program, and it actually responds as if, like, I don't know, anak dia respond ke whatever. I mean, something that actually makes a little bit of sense.
Don't worry, it's coming. It's around the corner.
Oh yeah,
I tell you. Yeah, it's around the corner. Meaning that ChatGPT will become also like Siri.
Yeah.
Hi, auntie, please well, we call it auntie, right? We call ChatGPT auntie. Hi, auntie, please do whatever that you want.
Excellent, excellent. So,
Someone says speech law. Yeah, but I subscribe to speech law, you know.
okay, speech law. All right.
Speech law or speak law, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But I tell you, I will discontinue my speech law soon because I've discovered a few more better than speech law.
Okay.
But you can give it a try. Speech law is a good one also.
Sure, thank you. So, nanti akan dapat stalking email from me,
Please join the
Thank you so
Facebook.
much.
Please join the Facebook group.
I will. Thank you so much, Prof. It's been amazing.
No worries. Happy
Okay.
to help. And
Right,
if you
Prof.
become addicted, I will celebrate that, meaning that we are successful.
Okay, can I just read one question from the chat, Prof?
Sure.
Okay. Assalam, Prof and Dr. Samsul. What is your opinion on paper knowledge-based exam? Is it going to be absolute soon? Since now Google and ChatGPT becoming more common, since learning new skill is more important to catch up with the technology.
Bagi Dr. Syamsul lah jawab.
Okay, Dr. Syamsul.
Ini Prof, ini benda yang kita susah nak lari lah Prof, because of somehow we realise that kita tak nak keluarkan soalan-soalan yang bersifat orang kata apa memorization ni, but again we did the same thing and repeating the same behaviour and over again. Just a matter of somehow macam saya katakan tadi lah Prof, maybe we should look a different dimensions of assessment. So not I think that final examination or testing is not the only way to test our student. Macam saya katakan tadi, but now the problem here is how can we able to design a good questions, meaning that the question that really can tested the student critical thinking, creativity, and I think that if you want to extend beyond and more, how can the question engage and also collaborate maybe with their peers and whatnot. So it's a bit tricky on this, and then I think that we need a lot of discussion Prof, pasal benda-benda begini, because of it's very technical, because of we are not talking about the access of knowledge, but also we are talking about the scalability, the transferability, and also the practicality of that question. So somehow it really depends on the context of the program or maybe of the course offered by the university.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I just want to pick up Dr. Umay, Dr. Umaima, from Dr. Hafiz here. Based on previous turn it in customers advisory board meeting, turn it in will launch the AI detection in turn it in feedback studio in the first or second quarter of 2023. Yeah, I'm aware about what turn it in is doing now. You see, this is why we always say when there's a threat, there's an opportunity. When there's a challenges, there's a prospects. So you see, menangguk dia air keruh lah. Turn it in, see the opportunity there. They say, oh, they will need the tools to check for text generated from ChatGPT, whether it's AI generated or whether it's a human generated. You see, but to me, no, it's never ending. There will be no end to it. You see, no matter how smart is this plagiarism check, students or people will find ways to game the system, to beat the tools, to hack the tools, and so on. We fight the fire become bigger and bigger. Then we try to develop new fire extinguisher, but there will be no end to it. Fighting fire all the time. I think we have to go back to basic. As a basic, there'll be another set of discussion going back to looking at our education, looking at how do we inculcate, instill values and integrity at the end of the day. No wonder now people is talking about that. Tan Sri Zul, Kifli, we talk about values, integrity, keep repeating it, and yet we are still grappling with the issue, sadly.
Right. Okay, so thank you so much, Prof. And also Dr. Samsul. The webinar has come to an end. So I will recap some of the webinar's important key points. Okay, the first thing first is to gain an understanding of how Chat GPT works, okay, and how it can be used to enhance our teaching and learning. Learn practical strategies of integrating Chat GPT. Explore a real-world example of Chat GPT. Connect with other passionate educators, like Prof. Karim gave an example just now. We do have a group for the world of academia on FB. So do come and join the group. It's very interesting topics every day being discussed. Develop a clear for how to education and prepare our students for the future. So me as your moderator for today's talk, appreciate your attendance and involvement in the webinar. Your suggestions during our Q&A session were helpful and valued. So if you wanted to follow Prof. Karim's, you can do so by visiting some of his online resources. For example, like my personal website's YouTube channel, at Biopolymer, my blog on Medium, my blog publication, Anecdotes of Academia, and also my musing on Tumblr, Vibrant Colors of Life. Semua saya sebut, Prof.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we still please do not hesitate to contact, especially on the Facebook, for the group, the World of Academia, and then to Professor Dr. Abdul Karim Alias, and also Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Samsul from UITM. Thank you for your time and expertise for today's sharing session. And I want to thank everyone who attended from UMT and other universities. Again, one more time, as well as our speakers, Professor Dr. Abdul Karim Alias and also Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Samsul. Just a friendly reminder that on Thursday, February 23rd, from 10 a.m. to 12:30 a.m., UMT will be hosting another fascinating webinar on technology, kecerdasan buatan AI dalam pendidikan, with Mr. Chua Kiman from Unimas as our next speaker. So we hope to see everyone there. And also not forgotten, the one that already been mentioned by Prof. Karin just now on the 21st of March, isn't it, Prof?
By CDAE USM.
By CDAE USM. Will be published or posted on the World of Academia on the Facebook? Right.
Of course.
So we are waiting for another interesting and also very fascinating topic later on that will be discussed further. So before we pen off or we end up our session, shall we have a photo session? So we hope that all participants, can you please to on your camera? Then I will count until I don't know how many of us already here now.
How many now?
And then Madam Hadila from
300 lagi. Okay.
yeah, we'll start taking the picture. Give
Chin, how are you? Orang USM ni. Tengok orang USM ramai tak?
they miss you, Prof.
No, they are not.
Okay, I will start counting, yeah. Okay, 1,
Senyum.
2,
Lunch is ready. Lunch is served.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Wow.
14, 15, 16, I'm still counting, 17,
USM punya webinar pun tak ramai ni. Macam mana ni?
18,
Dahsyat bro, dahsyat.
19,
Macam ni?
20.
Karim ramai
So,
peminat ni. Ramai peminat.
UMT yang hebat.
okay. So today event, thank you so much, Prof. We have a very big crowd today, Alhamdulillah.
My pleasure.
It's nearly 580 participants altogether.
Oh, yeah.
So,
wow, Alhamdulillah.
yes. 580 participants. So again, thank you so much on behalf of UMT Center for Development and Innovation Center. Terima kasih Prof. Karim dan juga TS Dr. Samsul for accepting our invitation on this webinar yang telah pun disediakan dengan tajuk yang sangat menarik yang hangat diperkatakan pada hari ini. So it's nearly 1 o'clock. We already been here for nearly 3 hours. Okay,
tak
so
terasa lah.
tak terasa.
Tak terasa.
Okay, sehingga kita jumpa lagi. Don't forget from UMT, we have another webinar on Thursday, 23rd, from 10 a.m. until 12:30 with Mr. Chua Kim Man from Unimas, insyaAllah. Okay, so once again, thank you so much everyone. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay,
Thank you, Prof.
makan.
Karim. Thank you, UMT.
Assalamualaikum
Thank you, everyone.
warahmatullahi. Have a good day. Have a nice day.
All right.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Dr. Samsul.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Yes, ma'am.